The following program is intended for mature audiences. The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Wicked Weeds studio. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene's alongside. No, we did not plan to wear the same damn t-shirt today. It is what it is.
We need to mark calendars if I'm going to wear this shirt on this day.
Right. Well, you know, I like to wear the shirt when I'm going out in public, and we're going out honky-tonking tonight out at Silverado's in Black Mountain. If you're in town, go out, check out the Georgia Thunderbolts and the Kentucky Headhunters tonight on the main stage, the outdoor concert series. You can get tickets at silveradoswnc.com. Tomorrow night is going to be the night, though, with Brian McKnight.
I will be there tomorrow.
I know you're all excited about that.
I will be there tomorrow night.
So again, check them out at silveradoswnc.com. We are live in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different, and today we're going to talk about the NFC East in our best worst case scenarios. We also have to talk about the Open Championship. I'm feeling pretty good about my lineup that I did not submit on the game. I got 3 in the top 10 right now. So I'm feeling pretty good.
I'm not feeling great because nobody on my team could score.
Colin Morikawa went 6 under today. So he's leading the tournament right now at 9 under. Jordan Spieth is 2 through holes today, and he's already 2 under. So things look pretty good for old Jordan Spieth.
Yeah, I was wrong to not. I was wrong to not play Jordan Spieth.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Well, I mean, he's been so close in so many tournaments already. Broke his win streak not too long ago. And then I think he's finished, second or third in about 4 other tournaments?
Anytime I trust Jordan Spieth, he just duties in his pants. So if you played him, you should probably be glad that I didn't. So
yeah,
there's that.
Yeah, well, Jordan Spieth, like I said, sitting in second place at the Open Championship right now, and Louis Oosthuizen also, he's also up there on the leaderboard, still tied for third at 6 under, getting ready to tee off as we speak. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be able to keep your attention on the show here?
Yes.
Are you just locked in, or have you already just chalked them up as losses?
My team sucks. The guy specifically said to avoid is the guy that's, 4,700 under.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked you earlier in the week, what about Colin Morikawa? Oh, I don't like him.
The whole damn thing hated him.
Yep.
And he shot a 64 today. So
I'm feeling pretty good between Jordan Spieth, Tony Finau, and who was the other one? I had another one in the top 10.
Spieth, Finau, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's going well. It's going pretty well for me. And right now in our sports,
so it doesn't go.
Right, in our Sportsocracy group right now, I'd be what, third? I like that. I'd be beating Hammond. That's the only thing that I really would care about. But you
didn't.
C'est la vie. Like I said to him earlier this morning, this could be the last one that I don't enter. Of course, it'll probably be the best one that I'll ever do.
100%.
Knowing my luck. But, yeah. So today, we got to talk about the NCAA because Mark Emmert did an interview, and he said, basically, what are we here for? He said it's now time to talk about decentralizing college sports. And then at this point forward, the NCAA should have a very minimal role in college athletics. I think that it was a day that I saw coming at some point, but I didn't think it would be this immediate.
I tried to tell you that.
Uh-huh.
You wouldn't listen. Oh, we got to get the players paid. Okay. You can't unfuck that chicken, so just understand that. And that's where you're at.
Yep.
And now it's going to be left up to the conferences.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's the thing they want to do. He says maybe the conferences should take over and start thinking about realignments. And this is the path that leads us down. If every school with money is now going to be in a conference or a series of conferences by themselves, this will be it'll no longer be the Power Five. It'll just be, these are the three conferences that actually can contend for national championships because they can buy all the players.
Correct.
And I'll be fine with it because nobody's getting excluded from that. Nobody who could contend for a national championship is going to be excluded from that.
I disagree with you. I think it's going to be markedly more aggressive than you think. Congratulations, Oklahoma State and Oregon. You just found a way to be relevant for pretty much the first time ever. But we'll see as that goes. But we're here to talk about football. We'll talk about the NCAA shit on the afternoon.
We are talking about football.
Yeah, we'll talk about
big
college
impacts
shit.
for college
I don't care. I want to talk about actual football.
You want to talk about actual football?
Yeah, my head hurts. It's been a long morning already.
Oh.
And we got to get the Washington football team done before Pat Holt has to drop out.
Okay. Well,
we'll start with the Washington football team.
Let's just get into it. The NFC East, best worst case scenarios for 2021. We'll start off with the Washington football team. This is a team that everybody's kind of jumping on that bandwagon going, we recognize how good the defense is. We all recognize that this offense has weapons as well. The offensive line's pretty good. They'll be able to run the ball. The big question mark that I have is, which Ryan Fitzpatrick are you going to get? Are you going to get the really good Ryan Fitzpatrick, and he's going to stick around for a while? Or is this going to be the Ryan Fitzpatrick that comes out for 4 games and then just disappears?
Best case scenario for the Washington Redskins? Nameless and shameless.
Nameless and shameless. They're no longer the Redskins. They're the Washington football team. They can't come up with a name. And I am going to have them in a lot of places to win this division.
They're going into the season as the favorite. I don't know that I wholly agree with that. I would say them and the Cowboys are real close.
I would agree.
Because I think the offense is going to be better for Washington than it was last year. I think the defense for the Cowboys is going to be better. The question is, which of your already formidable units is going to be better? I really like the defense for the Washington football team, and it's going to be one of the best in the league. I'm scared of Ryan Fitzpatrick. As somebody that watched him for a long time, I think people are forgetting there is a whole shitload of bad Fitz-tragic. But if that does not happen, and he's the good Fitzpatrick that we saw predominantly in Miami, this is an 11 or 12 win team.
How good can he be, though? Can Ryan Fitzpatrick still be can he still be the guy that on certain weeks he's going to give you 4 touchdowns and no interceptions, and then the other weeks be, the 3-1 guy? I don't know if he can do it consistently.
You want me to tell you a funny stat about Ryan Fitzpatrick from last year? He played in 9 games. He only had 1 game of the 9 he played where he didn't throw either 0 touchdowns or 0 interceptions. That's the definition of inconsistency.
Yep.
3 picks in the first game, no touchdowns. 2 touchdowns, no picks the next 2. 2 picks, no touchdowns in game 4. It was 6 games into the season before he threw both in the same game.
Wow.
Can he be that guy? Yes. I just think you're going to see it about half the time. Now, the question is, the weeks that he doesn't do it for you, is the defense good enough to keep you in games, and can Antonio Gibson be good enough to carry the water? I would say yes.
I would agree. I think that defensive front is the scariest thing in football.
The front is very, very good.
I mean, with Chase Young and Montez Sweat on either side of the 4-man line, and then you got Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne in the middle. They invested a lot of draft capital into creating this monster. I mean, this is the way that Ron Rivera wants to play football. He wants to play damn good defense, run the ball, and take shots when you can. And he's got a quarterback, I think, that that can do that for him. Ryan Fitzpatrick's a very smart guy. There's a reason that he's stuck around so long, and a reason so many ailing franchises have trusted him to be either the bridge guy or, well, basically the bridge guy.
He's the definition of a bridge guy.
Some expected him to be the bridge guy a little bit longer than he actually was.
The problem is Washington doesn't have anybody to bridge him to. They don't have the next, whoever's going to be next. That can be a positive, it can be a negative. Because if you see 2 or 3 games in a row of bad Fitzmagic, you don't really have anywhere to go. I mean, Taylor Heineke, okay. Do I believe they would do that? No, not really.
You don't believe there's a path where he gets benched for Taylor Heineke?
Is there a path? Yes. Do I find it to be even vaguely likely? No.
I'll disagree with that. I mean, he comes out and he has some of those games that you were talking about where he throws 2 interceptions.
Well, the problem is he never does it. He never does it consecutively.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If he strings together those and the defense keeps them in games, but they're still losing really close games, I could very well see Ron Rivera saying, "Let's try this. Let's put Taylor back there."
I don't. I don't see it in the least. He's a good enough backup quarterback.
After the way Taylor played at the end of last year, and playing in the way he played in the playoff game as well against Tampa Bay, I mean, I think that's the reason they brought him back.
They brought him back because he has a familiarity with Ron Rivera.
Right, but he also shocked everybody by playing really well against that Tampa defense. I can very well see a path where they are switching off to Taylor Heineke at some point in the season.
I can't.
That's in the worst case scenario.
I can't. He played 2 games. Played against Carolina, and he was half-assed at best. He was the definition of game manager quarterback. And then, he was fine. He's still 59% completion guy. I don't see a path Fitzpatrick doesn't play. Barring injury, doesn't play 17 games. Now, to me, what decides this season for the Washington football team is first 8 games of the year. Because the schedule on the backside is not great. I could, if you're 4-4 going into the bye week, you're probably going to finish 10-7 at worst. Problem would come into you need good Fitzpatrick against the Chargers. I don't think you have a snowball's chance in hell winning at Buffalo or against Kansas City or in Green Bay. Now, the other 5 games are all winnable. So if you have bad Fitzpatrick against Buffalo, Kansas City, and Green Bay, cool. That's perfect. Because he could throw 400 yards. I still don't think you're going to beat them.
Right.
Now, the other 5, those are all winnable games. You go into the bye week 5-3, you're going to win the division. Because then I think at worst you're 11-6. That back half of that schedule sucks. You get Tampa on after a bye, which I'm probably going to pick them to win that game. Barring something horribly unforeseen. Then you go Carolina, Seahawks at the Raiders, Cowboys twice, Eagles twice at the Giants. There's not a lot of losses there.
No.
Because I would say they probably split with the Cowboys, and I will take them to win all 4 other games in the division.
I would agree with that. I think they're much stronger than the New York Giants. I think they're much stronger than the Philadelphia Eagles. They
have one of the weirdest schedules I've ever seen.
Unless the Eagles make a little move, and we'll get to that later on in the best worst case scenarios here in the NFC East.
They just have one of the most bizarre schedules I've ever seen. Through 13 weeks, they will have played 1 division game.
Yeah.
They end with 5 division games in a row, which I think is a positive personally, because that's what's going to shift the division. You get to go through 13 weeks of the season, figure things out, and then you end with 5 in a row. A lot of people have seen that as a negative. I see it as a positive, especially because there's 3 with Philadelphia and the Giants in there.
Yeah.
So if gun to my head, I had to pick a team that won this division right now, it's the Washington football team.
I think this is the first time I have ever seen a team have 2 division opponents 4 weeks in a row. Because they go Dallas, Philly, and then end out on the New York Giants. I think that could play in their favor, very much so.
There are a lot of people that don't agree with that, and I don't really understand that. It would be one thing if they played in the AFC North, and it was just defense after defense after, but it's not. You're playing 3 shit defenses in a row.
Right.
I don't see how that's a negative just because they're in your division.
Well, it's because the Cowboys are on that schedule. You look at the Cowboys, and everybody thinks, oh, the Cowboys are going to be so good. Their offense is going to be so, so versatile. Okay. I get a game in between where I get to tee off on my opponent.
The offense will be very good. The fact that you get them 2 times late, you got to remember, Dallas had a lot of injury issues on that line.
Yep.
So if you're telling me I get Chase Young, Payne, Jonathan Allen, all those guys, and there's a possibility they don't have Tyron Smith? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because Dak's going to get hit early and often.
Yeah. Best case scenario, they go 11-6.
I would say 12-5.
12-5.
Best case scenario.
Okay. Best case scenario, 12-5. I have them as a playoff team. I have them winning this division. I like what the Washington football team has built here. I just wish that they had a quarterback. Or a better quarterback. Ryan is okay.
Rob Johnson said in the comments, think of how bad the quarterback play was last year, and they still won the division.
Yeah.
All you've got to be is you don't even have to go full-assed. You have to be half-assed, and I think that's the definition of Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. Worst case scenario for the Washington football team, though, is the quarterbacks are no good.
Fitz tragic and warm beer.
Yep. Old Taylor Heineken. If you get the Fitz tragic, you can turn to Taylor Heineken, but if Taylor Heineken's not the guy, which I don't think he is, I don't think anybody expects him to be the guy, anything other than a injury replacement for Ryan Fitzpatrick or the bridge guy to the next guy. If those quarterbacks aren't good, your weapons aren't really going to matter all that much.
Let me ask you a question about Ryan Fitzpatrick because I'm curious how close you get on this.
Okay.
Fitzpatrick's played in the NFL since 2005. He's played double-digit games every year minus 3 since 2008. How many years has he finished better than a 63% passer?
Oh.
This is the same stat that I killed Baker Mayfield on, by the way.
Yeah. How many? How many years total?
3. And 2 of them are 2 of the last 3 years. He had done it one time before 2018. He did it the year in Tampa, the second year in Tampa, and he did it last year with the Dolphins. Other than that, he's been 63% or worse every year. He's not an overly accurate guy. He's Brett Favre light. Very, take chances. He's had double-digit interceptions in damn near every year he's been a starter. Didn't last year because he only played 9 games. If he's played a full complement of games, he's had double-digit interceptions every time. And that's the thing that scares me. Because, in my opinion, what Washington needed was that you needed a better version of Alex Smith. Somebody's just not going to turn the ball over. You got the antithesis of that. You got a better bearded version of Jameis Winston. Yeah, he's got a great arm. And there will be times that you go, my God, he's so good. But then there's times that you're like, what in the fuck are you looking at?
Right.
He used to make me want to bang my head against the wall with the Jets. Because the more important the game was, the worse he played. And that is what scares me with him as the quarterback of the Washington football team. Now, that being said, what is the worst case scenario?
The worst case scenario is the quarterbacks aren't good and your defense is still going to be amazing. So you're not going to be out of many games. And I think the worst case scenario for them is probably, I want to say 9-8.
That's where I'm at. 9-8 is exactly where I'm at.
Yeah,
I don't think it can be any worse than that.
Right. I trust in Ron Rivera. I trust in this coaching staff, and this defense is going to be unbelievable. And they're going to be in a lot of games, and they're going to be in close games. And even if you're in close games and your quarterbacks aren't working, I still, define quarterbacks aren't working. Can they still get the ball to Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel efficiently? Vaguely efficiently. Antonio Gibson, I expect him to continue to be a rising star in this league in his sophomore season. So I don't see a path where this team ends up with a losing record.
Funny you should mention that.
Yep.
A stat that I pulled that I'm in awe of that this is actually true. Ryan Fitzpatrick has started games for 8 teams. How many of those teams did he leave the team with a winning record?
1. 0.
Not one. Best he ever was 6-6 with Houston. Crazy thing. Here's another crazy stat that would, other than Buffalo, he's only played 30 games with one team. That is staggering to me. He's only played 2 seasons worth of games with one team.
Yeah.
It was the Jets. Jets and Bills. Played did it with 2 total.
Right. He's a journeyman. He's the NFL's.
But you have to ask yourself why. Why is that the case? Alex Sanders said in the comments, this is the first time that a team's invested in him, and we don't want to talk about it. It's not that we don't want to talk about it. It's that we don't understand why. There has to be something. He's universally been said to be a good locker room guy. Mm-hmm. There's got to be something. And the fact of the matter is he just doesn't win a lot. It would be a complete reversal of course for Ryan Fitzpatrick to be quarterback of a 12-5 team. Mm-hmm. I mean, even with the Jets, when it was talked about, well, why are you not paying him? Which we didn't, and I'm still confused by that. They were 9-7. That's the best you ever were. And I do have reservations. I think the hype on them has gotten dumb. That's where I'm at with Washington. I think the hype on them is dumb. They're being hyped as the 3rd best team in this conference, and I don't get it.
Yeah,
because you're counting on a guy that will poop in your mailbox and set it on fire.
Right.
I've watched him do it.
The second year in Tampa Bay that you were talking about, I think that's the year that he opened up the season throwing like 16 touchdowns in the first 4 weeks of the year. And after that, it just dropped off a cliff. I think immediately after, in the 5th game of that season, he threw 4 interceptions. Like, the wheels came off pretty quickly.
And they do.
Right.
You watch his game logs, it's like watching the most unbelievable game of ping pong you've ever seen in your life. Because it's good game, bad game, good game, bad game, good game, bad game, and it just goes back and forth for 15 years. Uh-huh. So to expect that, to me, it's all about the placement of the good games. Because they do play some formidable defenses on the schedule. Mm-hmm. They're just all in the beginning of it. If you can get to the bye week, not bad. I mean, hell, even if you go in 3-5, if they go into the bye week 3-5, they could still come out of the season 10-7. Now the question is, can you do that and still feel like Fitzmagic's the guy? Because if you do that, if this team's not 4-4, 5-3, 6-2, you're only going to be able to look at him.
Yeah,
that's gonna be the problem because you're going to be able to run the ball.
Yeah,
the line's still. I don't think it's great, but it's okay.
They're good.
I don't know that I agree with good. I think you're saying average wrong.
Okay. I think, is that me?
Yeah, I was like, for the fucking love of God, the damn table's been vibrating for 28 minutes.
Sorry, it's usually you, so I assumed that it was you.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was not me this time. It's like I feel like I'm having a stroke because the damn table won't stop vibrating.
Damn scammers.
Oh, God. I would say best case scenario, you're 11-6, 12-5, win the division. Worst case, you're 9-8, and you may or may not make the playoffs at 9-8. I would say in the NFC, you most likely don't.
Yeah, I would say at 9-8, you're out of the playoffs, but you're on the cusp, and you can use this year to go. Now we know. Now we know the one thing we're missing is a quarterback. And actually, if you don't already have that in your head, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion.
Alex Sanders said a lot of things, but I'm gonna take one high note here. Make him a game manager. Here's the problem: Jets tried that. Yeah, Jets tried that. Would you like to know how they what the reward for his game manager was? He threw 15 interceptions one year and 17 the next. That's not what he is. Mm-mm. He's not a game manager quarterback. The perk of Ryan Fitzpatrick is the fact that he's that 24, 23, 31, 20 touchdown guy. That's the perk of him, is that he can move you down the field. He can throw up tremendously big games. My fear is he's had 1 year in his entire life that his interception rate was below 2.5%. That means every 25 passes he throws gets intercepted. Mm-hmm. Or actually, it's less than that. Or every 40 passes. 1 out of every 40 passes he throws gets intercepted. That's not good. And there's times that it's at 5. The last year in Tampa, it was 7. Or no, 5. Sorry, I was looking at touchdown percent. It was at a full 5% in Tampa. Mm-hmm. That means that 1 out of every 20 throws that you make gets picked off. If he's that guy, they're in trouble.
There's a lot
because that's asking the defense to do entirely too much.
There's a lot of risk to Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I think that's one of the reasons that he fit in so well in Tampa Bay, was because that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to take their shots down the field. They wanted to be risky. Mm-hmm. And I think Washington's going to do the same. They will take their shots with this team. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of moving parts on that offense. I think that's what I'm so excited about, because the different looks that you can give with a guy like Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick, two guys who can really catch the football, I think we're going to see some innovative things with the Washington football team. They got a utility knife with Curtis Samuel, and they'll use him the same way Ron Rivera was using him in Carolina.
You better hope not.
What?
You better hope not.
To run those end arounds and jet sweeps.
You better hope
he
gets used the way that Joe Brady used him and not the way Ron Rivera used him. Mm-hmm. That's one of my biggest fears of this team, is that you paid this cat and you're going to use him the same way that Rivera did in Carolina. Let's be real honest. He was a bust until last year.
He was.
No doubt, not even debatable. He had one great year with Joe Brady. Mm-hmm. Now you're reverting him back to the same scheme that didn't use him properly before, and everybody just thinks it's going to work. Well, they're going to have to learn, because what they did in Carolina didn't work for shit. You drafted him and DJ Moore, and the better of the two was DJ Moore by 10 miles.
Right. I like the Washington football team this year, and I think Washington football team fans, even though you don't have a name for your team, you could definitely bank on being still being in the game when the playoffs begin.
The one thing I will say is, for fantasy purposes, J.D. McKissick's going entirely too low. If you're in a PPR league, he should be drafted, and drafted reasonably early in every one of them.
Reasonably early, like fourth round? Fifth round?
No.
Something like that?
By reasonably early, I mean he's going in, like, if I remember correctly, his ADP was like the 18th round. It should be 5 rounds earlier than that.
Okay.
He should be going ahead of guys like Latavius Murray and Chuba Hubbard. That's one that I see go way too high.
Right.
He should be going ahead of all of those guys, because he's going to have a role even with Antonio Gibson.
Mm-hmm. He had independent value last year. He will have independent value again this year. We are live in the Wicked Weed studio. Check out our friends at wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing, drink different. I'm Tank Spencer, and he's Jeremy Greene. We're going down the best, worst case scenarios for the NFC East. Washington football team's out of the way. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Are they going to let us down yet again? It was last year around this same time we started doing these prognostication videos for the 2020 season, and Jeremy actually said he thinks the Dallas Cowboys were going to be in the Super Bowl. And then things didn't go well.
Yeah, that was a great big...
The defense was god-awful. They were in...
That boy ain't right.
They were in shootouts all over the place.
Oh, you just keep talking. I'm just going to keep going.
Oh, wait.
And then Dak Prescott has the gruesome injury 5 weeks into the season.
He didn't realize Buffalo Bill was still talking over top of him.
I didn't. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear it. Anyhow, things didn't go well, obviously, for Dallas last year. They've now decided that, you know what, we should probably do something about the defense. So they spent a lot of draft capital on defense this year. They went out and they fired Mike Nolan. They bring in Dan Quinn, who was a horrible head coach in the NFL, but he's a damn good defensive coordinator. So will they let us down again this year? Or will it be best case scenario, you could take that Dak and like it?
I'm trying. Oh, shit.
There it is.
And I just knocked off the bad one. Son of a bitch.
Oh, no.
My computer's lagging like hell, and it's about to drive me crazy.
Oh, no. Take this Dak and like it. Dak Prescott last year was on pace to throw for, 5,600 yards. It was going to be an unbelievable season. And he's got all the weapons to do it this year. Mm-hmm. If he stays healthy and his offensive line stays healthy, then I can see a path where this is a team that everybody is afraid of.
I could easily see that as well. Looking at the team, they have damn near everything you would want them to have.
Mm-hmm.
The secondary still scares the shit out of me. It's just not a.
It's not good. Not good. How about that?
I mean, outside of Trayvon Diggs, it's bad.
Well, that's why they spent 2 of their first 3 draft picks this year on corners. They went out and got Kelvin Joseph, and who was the other one? Nashawn Wright.
Mm-hmm. Who I think they overdrafted, but that's just me.
But that was the plan. The plan was we have to bolster this defense somehow. Obviously, they got Micah Parsons, which everybody realizes is I think everybody's on board with that was a home run, right?
I like Micah Parsons. I didn't value that to really be a need. I like the Cowboys linebackers.
Mm-hmm. Well, the problem there was longevity still for me. They've already decided they're not picking up the 5th-year option on Leighton Vander Esch, so they said we got 1 more year with him. Mm-hmm. And Micah Parsons is – you got Micah Parsons and Jabril Cox in the draft, and I feel like that's your next era of Dallas Cowboys stalwart linebackers.
Let me ask you a question. I'm curious how close you get.
Okay.
The Cowboys were 28th in points allowed last year. Mm-hmm. For the previous 6 years, where did they average ranking?
21.
11.
What?
They were 11, 6, 13, 5, 16, 15.
Damn.
So all the people that said, oh, you were so stupid that. I don't know what the hell just happened.
I think you got a loose cord over there.
I moved, and all of a sudden the world turned off and then lit back up. I mean, everybody made it, oh, you're so stupid. Yeah, the Cowboys' defense sucks. Oh, it hadn't for quite some time.
Right.
But there were years it was average. There were years it was pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. So if they could just revert back to what they were defensively, this is the best team in the division. Mm-hmm. If you're top half of the league in defense, and you still have that offense, because that offense is going to be damn near impossible to stop. Mm-hmm. By the way, CeeDee Lamb's the one on this team. It's not even debatable. Stop taking Amari Cooper over CeeDee Lamb. People have started roping me in to help with their fantasy drafts, and every freaking time I've done this, it seems like Amari Cooper goes ahead of CeeDee Lamb, and I just get pissed off. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with me. It doesn't affect my life in any way, and I'm still mad about it. CeeDee Lamb's the Dallas Cowboy receiver you want. He's the best receiver on this team. It's not even close. And I don't mind Gallup. Late.
You would take. I was going to say, would you take Gallup over?
No, because I'm not an idiot.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
No, Amari Cooper is.
You weren't completely off the rails on.
No, he's historically bad on the road. Mm-hmm. That's one of those narratives that I feel like I'm the only one keeping this train going. You need to understand, Amari Cooper is god awful on the road and has been his entire pro career. So it's hard for me to count on him. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I look at this offense and go, oh, they were 17th in points scored last year with Andy Dalton playing 11 games. Mm-hmm. Dak was on pace for the best year in NFL history. Mm-hmm.
And I don't see anything changing that. I see him coming in and just picking up where he left off. Now, he may not have to be, throwing for 500 yards a game because their defense will be improved. It's just going to be unproven. And that could be a problem. The Dallas Cowboys, to me, are a team that could very well win this division in a walk. If things go bad in Washington, Dallas could win this division by 3 games.
I could easily see that. But you do have to entertain the and unfortunately, I hit the X on the slide, and I can't fix it from this computer.
Oh, no.
It's hard to play pool with a rope.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it's a limp dick joke. If the defense doesn't come back, I'm scared to death of Dallas. Mm-hmm. Because you cannot live in shootouts like that. You just can't.
No.
You cannot week in, week out go into shootouts like that.
No, I mean, look at their schedule. They're going to start out with Tampa Bay and Los Angeles Chargers the first 2 weeks. If your defense is bad, you're going to lose those games. You're going to lose those games in shootouts. You got Philadelphia, Carolina, the Giants, New England. I mean, that should be 4-2 going into the bye week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Minnesota, Denver, Atlanta.
There's more of
That's
these
a hell
games.
of a start. Wow.
There are more of these games that are losable than you think. Let's say the defense. Let's say the defense falls halfway in between what they were and what I just said they had been.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they're in that 20 range, where they still really can't stop anybody. All right, well, then you're going to lose to Tampa. You're going to lose to Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
If Philly does what I think they're going to do, because I have come full. This is just like what was it that I waffled on for a day? There was something.
That was Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones being the
I
pick
had
at
Mac
3.
Jones going to the fucking Patriots for them. I waffled and put him with San Francisco for one day. Just so happened to be a day I put out a mock draft, and it bit me in the ass because I was right.
Yep.
Well, guess what? I'm right about something with Philadelphia, too, and I'll tell you what it is in just a second.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say what I think happens with Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to be an easy game to win. By the way, Miles Sanders, drunk on Miles Sanders. I'll get into that with Philadelphia. Sorry, I saw a Philadelphia Eagles fan in the comments that I'd never, Slasher, welcome in, by the way.
Right.
And it completely wrapped itself around my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of these are winnable games. I mean, let's be really honest. Carolina. Well, say your defense is 20th in the league, 22nd in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Darnold's going to carve you up like a Thanksgiving turkey.
That's fine, because my offense can keep up, and I can outscore them.
And that's fine. I don't dispute that.
It's just not sustainable.
No, because you're going to lose a lot of those guys. When you get into shooting, this is the Detroit Lion methodology of the world. When you live by the fact that I can outscore you, teams are going to outscore you. You're going to live 9-7.
Yeah.
9-7, 8-8, 7-9. Mm-hmm. That's what shootout basketball. It's just like Phoenix or Mike D'Antoni basketball in the NBA. If your goal is to just outscore people, it ain't going to work every night. Mm-hmm. It's just not. Defense travels, offense doesn't. That's always been the methodology in the NFL. Defense does not tend to let you down nearly as often as offense does. Mm-hmm. And if you tell me that defense is going to be even close to as bad as it was last year, they're not winning this fucking division. They're not.
Best case scenario, though, the defense is not a problem. And, am I crazy to think 13-3 would be possible?
Well, 13-4.
Or 13-4.
I was about to say 13-3 would be physically impossible unless they just decided they weren't going to play that 17th game.
Yes.
I think you might be a little high.
Okay.
Solely because I'm looking at the line at the schedule, just going, you're going to lose to Tampa. Mm-hmm. You're more than likely going to lose to the Chargers. The New England game is. It's really hard for me to believe that offense is going to play well in New England in October. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're too high. There's 5 guaranteed losses on the schedule.
Guaranteed losses.
Best they could be is 12-5. Best they could be 12-5. Even if the defense was fantastic, you're not stopping Pat Mahomes. You're going to trip up and lose at least one game to Washington.
Right.
And then you got Tampa Bay, and you're going to lose some combination of Chargers, Patriots, at the Vikings. That one's coming off a bye, so I don't really look for you to lose that.
In Arizona.
At New Orleans. It's hard to beat New Orleans in New Orleans. And Arizona. You'll lose some combination of those games. Mm-hmm. So I'd say best you can be is 12-5, but I look at the Cowboys and I look at the Washington football team the same way. I think the best you can be is 12-5, but I think the worst you could possibly be is 9-8. And that's going to make you competitive for a wild card spot. And I'll be honest with you get in the playoffs and all bets are off. The only thing is I really don't want to see this team play outside. Mm-hmm. Do you buy Ezekiel Elliott this year?
To a degree.
Okay.
If you're talking fantasy football,
I'm talking period.
I think he's going to be serviceable this year. I mean, he's going to be at the top of tier 2 for running backs.
Well, he's got to stop fumbling the damn ball.
That is very true. But I expect a healthier offensive line to be blocking for him. Teams can't load up the box against him because you just can't. You have too many weapons.
They loaded up the box when it was Andy Dalton.
Right.
And he was a little out of shape, and he kept fumbling the fucking ball.
Right. They're not going to do that against Dak Prescott. I mean, like for fantasy football purposes, like if you're in a redraft, I'm not touching him because somebody's going to want to take him in that first round or top 2 picks of the second round. And I'm not taking that gamble because the chances that he's not real good are okay. Or that he splits some time with Tony Pollard or gets hurt or something. To me, there's a path for him to be a fantasy bust this year, but still good on the football field to get them wins.
I have a fun stat with every team, just so you know. I got a fun stat with Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay.
Kevin Vick said he's going to continue to have the whoopsies. From the time Dak Prescott went down to the end of the season, how many fumbles did Ezekiel Elliott lose?
1.
It's 1. In 11 games, he lost 1. He lost 4 with Dak. Is that an aberration? It's entirely possible. But it's a weird stat. Mm-hmm. In 5 games, you had 5 fumbles. Or 6 games. 6 games, you had 5 fumbles because he got hurt in the 6th game. You had 6 fumbles, or you had 5 fumbles in 6 games. You had 1 the rest of the year. I think the fumble thing's a little overblown. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have. It's not good, but I don't think it's the devastation that people make it out to be. I'm a buyer of Zeke. I think having an offense that can spread teams that thin is just going to it's going to lead to him being better than people think.
Would you like to make a stat projection on where you think he finishes?
Yeah. He's been in the league 5 years. He's finished right at 980 yards twice. One was in a hurt year, one was last year. Mm-hmm. He's had 300 carries in every full season he's played, and by full, I mean he played 15 or more games, minus last year. I can't figure out how much of this is McCarthy and how much of this is. All right, I'm going to split the difference. I'll say it's 275 rushes, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns.
Okay.
And he'll be every bit the receiving threat that he was last year. He had 52 receptions last year, just so you know.
That all sounds about right on par with me. I was thinking best case scenario, he might be at like 12, but even that's hard to do in this day and age in the NFL.
Well, you got to remember there's 17 games this year too, so you got to bump everything up.
Yeah. Anyway, the Dallas Cowboys, the biggest thing for me is that I don't know if they're going to be able to live up to the hype. We've been hyping them up for years now, and every year they let us down. You think coming into the season they're going to be the best team in the division, and they end up 8-8. Nothing.
Yeah, they shit my pancakes like they did last year.
Right. But with the Dak Prescott injury, it's an anomaly, and I think everybody gets a pass for that. A lot of people want to talk about Mike McCarthy being on the hot seat. If he doesn't get it done this year, I think there's some legitimacy to that. However, I think you do give him a bit of a break on last year because of the Dak injury. So, the Dallas Cowboys, I think, for sure will be a playoff team.
I think they will definitely compete for the playoffs. I'm not dead sold on that defense yet, but I would say they're a playoff team as well.
Mm-hmm. We are live in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Tank Spencer, and he's Jeremy Greene. And the best worst-case scenarios roll on here in the NFC East.
We'll do the Philadelphia Eagles. We have an Eagles fan in the comments. Our Giants fan didn't show up, so they get done last.
All right, Eagles fan in the comments. The Philadelphia Eagles. Are you going to make a move? That's the big question. Adam Schefter tweeted it out the other day that there's still some rumblings about Deshaun Watson being moved. And, the one team that's going to be involved is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm. That's the only team. I've said this for months. Mm-hmm. I backed off of it. I'll be damned if Adam Schefter didn't steal my thunder and say I just hadn't heard it in a while.
Right.
So I backed off like, well, we're getting close to the season. Things aren't going to happen. Something's going to happen with Deshaun Watson. Mm-hmm. He's either playing for the Houston Texans or he's playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. If you tell me he's playing for the Eagles, this becomes the most difficult division to figure out in the NFL.
I think even if he's playing with the Philadelphia Eagles, they're still the third best team in this division.
I don't agree with you.
I just can't. Look,
you go from the worst
fantastic.
Quarterback in the division to the best, and you don't think they move at all.
No, they do, but not. No, but that would make them better than the Giants. I believe the Giants are the third best team in this division right now.
I think it's close.
And so they would be.
I would say they're probably, with Jalen Hurts, they're the worst team in the division. Mm-hmm. With Deshaun Watson, you could convince me of any of the 3 spots. Because at the end of the day, you've got Devontae Smith, I don't know what the hell they're going to do with Zach Ertz. Cut him, I guess. But you still got Goddard. You still got Jalen Reagor that I do like. The weapons aren't as bad as everybody makes it out to be. Not with Devontae Smith in it, because I like Devontae Smith a lot.
I don't hate the weapons because now you have Travis Fulgham as your 3. Travis Fulgham's great as the 3. Not very good if he's your 1, like he was last year. Jalen Reagor gets some time to bounce back from a disappointing rookie season. And Devontae Smith, we've all got high hopes for him because of how dominant we saw him be at Alabama. You give them a legitimate quarterback, then you've got the running game, you've got the weapons for him to throw to. Hopefully you're going to have a healthy offensive line. I mean, the offensive line was decimated by injuries last year. What was the stat I gave yesterday on ESPN Asheville that they had, without considering COVID, Philadelphia lost 126 starts last year, or 126 games, excuse me, not starts, games between all of their players. Lane Johnson, if he can stay healthy. Andre Dillard, who missed all last year. Wasn't great his rookie year, but he does have promise. And you still got Jason Kelsey there, who's just timeless.
If the line is healthy, the line's actually pretty good.
Yes.
And adding, I think Landon Dickerson's going to find a place to play, and I think it's at left guard to start with, and then he replaces Kelsey in a year. I don't mind the line. There's a lot of good coming out about Miles Sanders. I don't know if you saw this or not. Howard Cosell did a film breakdown of Miles Sanders. He's way better than you think he is. The production hasn't been there, but it's cyclical. It will come. I still like Miles Sanders. I think he's going way too low in fantasy draft.
Did you say Howard Cosell? Greg Cosell.
Greg Cosell. Sorry,
Cosell.
I said his dad, not him. My bad. If Howard Cosell was doing it, it would be on the Zombie Channel.
Always did love Howard Cosell, though.
Howard Cosell.
As far as the defense goes,
if you figured out the second corner, the defense isn't bad.
Really?
Hey, and now you don't have Jalen Mills to be just a fucking sieve, because New England paid him U.S. dollars. That's a thing you did.
They don't.
I would pay Jalen Mills $5 U.S. to go the fuck away.
They don't. The defense of this team doesn't tickle my pickle at all.
And I disagree with you.
Okay.
They have edge rushers, fact or fiction.
They do.
They have 4 of them, and they have a 5th that I loved coming into this draft in Veron Jackson. So you're going to be able to get after the quarterback. You still got Fletcher Cox in the middle. I like Javon Hargrave more than most do. I think if I did an all unheralded team, Javon Hargrave would probably be the D tackle.
Okay, and then
you still have Darius Slay that can shut down ones. The only and be real honest, name a team in this division that you really have to worry about more than one receiver. It's
Dallas.
Dallas. That's the only one.
You're not worried about Curtis Samuel in Washington?
No, because I'm afraid of how Scott Turner's going to use him.
Yeah.
I'm afraid he's going to use him the same way he did in Carolina, and he's an afterthought. And the Giants have Kenny Galladay and then Darius Slayton. He's fine. Sterling Shepard, he lives hurt. Evan Ingram, he has 10 of these. Got 10 thumbs.
Okay. So Darius Slay can focus on the one. They did get Anthony Harris, who's a guy that I like.
Slasher said he's the Eagles fan, by the way. He or she, I don't know if it's a man or woman. What about the D-line? Yeah, it's the D-line. That's the whole thing. You can get after the quarterback in this division all the way in, because these are going to be teams that try to score. This division has gone from being real grinded out defense oriented. It's very spread now. Do you know what that does? Puts a lot of onus on the 5 linemen.
Yeah.
Rob Johnson said, what about De'Ami Brown? It's going to take a year. I love De'Ami Brown. We covered him for several years in North Carolina. Love him. But he ain't ready yet. I'm just telling you, if Philadelphia made a move for Deshaun Watson, and I'm telling you, this would be buy low to the highest extreme. To the highest extreme. Slasher said Josh Sweat, which is still a name that makes me want to bite this fucking table, because I'd scream for the Jets to take him, and Philadelphia took him like 2 spots ahead of a Florida State guy. He and all. If Deshaun Watson's the quarterback of this team, what is their record? I have a feeling you're going to say a number that's going to piss me off.
Oh, it's something that's been so out there that I haven't even really considered it. Let me take a look at the schedule here.
Their schedule lays out very poorly, by the way. They have a very late bye week, of which that's one of the reasons that I kind of fell off the Deshaun's going to Philadelphia train. Because with a bye week that late, you really needed him in camp earlier. But camp's not starting yet. So.
I'm going to go.
He's going to say 7-10.
No, I'm not. I'm at 9-8, maybe close to 10-7.
There it is. You have come around to my way of thinking. Welcome to the smart table. This is what I've been trying to say forever. Philadelphia is not one of those teams that goes, hey, let's be dog shit. So they just don't do that.
Right.
If you look at Philadelphia Eagle history over take away last year, they've had one season where they had 4 wins in 15 years. Mm-hmm. They've had 2 bad years in 15 years. That's not what this team does. This is the splashy destination. This is the Nnamdi Asomugha, Vince Young dream team Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
This is still the same brain trust that did that.
Yes.
So I just refuse to believe that they watched Jalen Hurts, who has been god-awful, don't believe in. I have a friend in the media in Philadelphia. He is dog shit, and they know it. Mm-hmm. They fully know it. They know they fucked that up. They will never admit that on camera, but guess what? Dougie Doug did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doug, the one that no longer cashes paychecks from the Eagles, he admitted it. It was a fuck up. You can get Deshaun Watson right now. I would say you could get Deshaun Watson for a 1. Mm-hmm. If Philadelphia was willing to come off their one, basically the same comp package they gave up that they got for Carson Wentz, you give up a 1 next year and a compensatory pick. It's a 3 if he doesn't make the team or doesn't play a game. It's a 2 if he plays 50% of the snaps. It's a 1 if he plays 75% of the snaps. Mm-hmm. You tell me who says no to that. Houston gets rid of the headache. Philadelphia buys the lottery ticket, and they have draft capital to do it.
Right. Because you also got to think if they give up their own pick for next year.
And that's the thing. It would have to be their own pick.
Right. They give up their own pick for next year. If Deshaun Watson doesn't play this year, this
it's
team
not
is
going to be
bad.
Good.
Right. This team is bad. And there Houston has the top pick. Not the top pick, but one of the top picks. Oh, yeah. I could see them definitely going down that path. No, and when I was saying that the defense for this team doesn't really tickle my pickle, it's the back. To me, it's not great.
It's the back half.
Right.
It's the linebackers in the secondary that can do it for you.
Right.
I get it. It's an average. The back half is average.
Thank you.
The line is top 5 in the league.
Average was the right descriptor there.
Yeah.
Kelvin
the back
Joyner,
half's average.
Kelvin Joyner said in the comments that Jalen Hurts being set up as the fall guy here. Yeah, I don't see that. To me, he is what he is.
Well, okay, so all right. So I like how he said that because it leads me into the worst case scenario for the Philadelphia Eagles. Hurts not so good. First of all, before I go any further, I have to say this because I never thought he would agree with me, and I said it before the show. John Cougar Mellencamp, far superior to Bruce Springsteen. Fight me. It's not even debatable to me, but Hurt So Good, one of the best songs ever. Mm-hmm. Love that song. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to tell him he was wrong, but I don't.
You can't. You can't because I'm not wrong, and his last name was Cougar. Anybody whose last name is a mountain cat, you're a pretty cool cat to me.
Way better singer. Way better singer than Bruce Springsteen.
Kelvin said he's been set up to be the fall guy. Mm-hmm. I disagree with you. Because here, one of two things happens for Philadelphia. They either make a move because they know he's not the guy, or they go into this year with Jalen Hurts as the starter because they feel like they have to prove to the fan base he can't do it. Mm-hmm. First of all, we work right beside a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan. We used to host a show with a guy that played for the Eagles for a pretty good long damn time. Mm-hmm. We know this team reasonably well. They know he's not the guy. They know. The problem is that there's a large percentage of the fan base that thinks he can be because they watched him at Alabama. He's not. He's not that guy. I love how Slasher said he leaves clean pockets way too much. Yeah, I've been saying that since he was at Alabama. I said it at Oklahoma. I said it last year with the Eagles. It's who he is. He's a runner. You know, everybody always grimaced at the Lamar Jackson's a running back. Jalen Hurts is a running back that just so happens to throw the ball. Yeah. He's a pretty damn good one, too.
Yeah.
When I evaluated him for the draft, I evaluated him as a running back. Mm-hmm. because I thought he could be a damn good one because he can actually run dudes over. Problem is he can't throw. He can't throw. He has no anticipation whatsoever. He can't lead a receiver to save his life. And I think if you give him 17 games as a starter, he is going to throw more interceptions than you can shake a stick at. And the problem is you don't know where to go. What are you going to do? Go put it in Joe Falco?
Right.
That signing never made any sense to me. It still doesn't make any sense to me. And it bothers the shit out of me because I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
You can't have two quarterbacks that are this different. I mean, just think about it. All right, Baltimore has Lamar Jackson. You had RG3 as the backup because they do similar shit. I'm not saying they're the same quarterback.
Yeah.
This is chocolate ice cream and mangoes. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Sort of like the Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott and Andy Dalton last year?
They're still pocket quarterbacks that can throw the ball. Mm-hmm. Jalen Hurts is a running back, to be completely honest. You're going to have to run a funky-ass offense that is very similar to Baltimore's. I understand Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts are not the same guy. They're both run-first guys.
Yeah.
This offense ain't set up for that. First of all, you have 3 wide receivers. Not one of them can block worth a fuck. That's a very bad sign. By the way, that's one of the reasons that Miles Sanders has looked so bad. Watch the breakdown from Greg Cosell. It will open your eyes a lot on Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
Nick Mullins, that's another one. I don't get it. These are 2 guys that cannot back up Jalen Hurts. So what does that tell you? Jalen Hurts may not be the quarterback. Jalen Hurts may be the Taysom Hill to Deshaun Watson. Mm-hmm. And it's the only thing that makes all of this make sense. My favorite line, when you hear hoofbeats, it's much more likely to assume horses than zebras. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Worst case scenario is they don't pull out a Deshaun Watson deal. Jalen Hurts is the quarterback.
And they go 3-14.
Thank you for saying it before I could.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
3-14.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said 13.
3-14. That's no. Before I say a record, I cognitively see the number 17.
I haven't trained my brain to do that yet.
Yeah, it took a long time. Get drug in the comments a few times. It'll happen.
Right.
Because it's usually me. I'm the one that pisses people off, so they tend to want to make fun of every little nitpicky thing I say.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the range of outcomes for the Eagles is the biggest of any team in the NFL. Jalen Hurts starts 17 games, you go 3-14, and he's probably not on this team in a year. Mm-hmm. Make a deal for Deshaun Watson. You could probably find a role for Jalen Hurts where you can use his skill set. And I could see him being 10-7, 11-6. Mm-hmm. I can see him winning this division with Deshaun Watson. That's how drastic this is.
I could as well. And at least, and if they don't win the division, if they get Deshaun Watson, they're going to be in the hunt. Because I don't expect the Washington football team in Dallas to be that much better than a 10-7 record. They're going to be in that 12-5, 11-6 area. So it's going to be real close down to the division, and those 2 games against Dallas at the end of the year that come a week apart, those could very well play a huge role in determining this. And again, if Dallas is bad or their defense is bad, you give the Eagles a little bit of a bump in that.
Slasher asked me in the comments, what are the chances Hurts actually plays above the standards of most analysts? 0. He was a 52% completion quarterback last year. That doesn't deserve to be in the NFL, let alone starting. Mm-hmm. And I understand it was a small sample size with bad wide receivers. I don't give a shit. He actually took pressure off the line because he did have the ability to run. So they couldn't just jailhouse him until they figured out that they could. I'll be honest with you, if he starts 17 games, the mantra of the defensive coordinator every week is going to be, we are going to send the hellhounds at him. Because all you had to do was get somebody in his face and he went all to hell.
Yep.
And it happened week after week after week. It took 1 week. It took 1 game for defensive coordinators to go, every time we blitz him, he just tends to poop in his pants. Maybe we should do that more often. And they did, and he became the quarterback that I told you he was before he was drafted. Mm-hmm. But now the bad thing for Philadelphia, when you bring in a guy like Jalen Hurts and Tim Tebow, and there are a lot of guys like this, that we saw them be good in college. And so people get duped by it because people don't, in large part, people don't understand that just because you're a good college quarterback does not mean that you'll be a good NFL quarterback. And vice versa. Not all great NFL quarterbacks were great college quarterbacks.
Right.
Tom Brady got benched. I understand, long time ago. Russell Wilson, he was fine.
But NC State said no thanks.
Yeah. NC State looked at him and went, nope, we'd rather play Mike Glennon and his weird small head on his big shoulders. Damn it, I thought I had you right there. I saw that cup go up. I was like, oh, that computer's getting fucked up today.
He's trying to plan out spit takes now.
And I mean, the thing is that the defense can keep you in. I think the pass rush will keep them in games. I don't look at them the same way I look at the Texans. The Texans, without Deshaun Watson, will literally get blown out every fucking week.
Right.
They will get slaughtered. I don't see that with Philadelphia. I think they'll be able to keep games close. I just don't think you can win. Because, all right, look, here's my problem with Philadelphia. Team scores, you're down a touchdown with 2 minutes to go. There a snowball's chance in hell that Jalen Hurts gets you down the field?
Nah.
No. Because you can't throw deep. I don't have to respect you throwing deep because you can't do it. So I think you'll lose a lot of close games that way. I don't think it's going to be god-awful.
Yeah.
I just think the record's going to be god-awful. But I think 2-1s get you Deshaun Watson, and I think you should do it.
I agree.
Because as I have said with Deshaun Watson, he took him in his Scott Fishbowl draft.
Yes, I did.
And I told him to do it for about 4 rounds before he actually did. Because I cannot wrap my brain around the fact that there are actually people that think Deshaun Watson's not going to play this year.
There are a lot of people under the impression that he's going to wind up on the commissioner's exempt list, and they're not going to allow him to play.
Name me the other guy that's ever happened.
It's never happened before.
No, it has. Ray Rice did.
Well,
you know
no, but
why?
I mean without some kind of criminal charges being filed, no.
You know why? I can't believe I can't believe nobody in the media has said this out loud. Because you can't. There's a CBA for a fucking reason. You can't put him on the exempt list. If he did, the NFLPA would lose its shit, and it would last 3 days.
Yep.
Because they would fold like a deck chair. Because with no criminal prosecution, you can't do that. The commissioner's exempt list, yeah, it's been used that way because guys like, I don't know, Ray Rice, who beat the hell out of his girlfriend, wife at the time, and it was on camera. There's no I didn't do it to that. Kareem Hunt, same thing. It was on camera. This is a he said, she said. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I don't claim to. What I do know is the CBA, and I know it quite fucking well. There's no shot he gets suspended unless there is some form of criminal prosecution.
Yeah, all other cases have been like Adrian Peterson when he was dealing with the whipping of his child. And Melvin Gordon, didn't he end up on the exempt list for a couple of weeks because of the DUI?
I believe so.
There was somebody,
but these are all things that
right.
It's provable. It's all on camera. Like every bit of this, there's no, I didn't do it. That's what this is. It just blows my mind how, and I'm really not trying to be political here, so I'm going to say this and just leave it on the table. You do it what the fuck you want to. It shocks me how many people do not understand what their rights are as employees or as employers. What you can and cannot do. It just blows my mind that people don't get that.
Yep. I got him in the 9th round of the Scott Fishbowl, and I feel pretty damn good about it. Which is
pretty fucking swift.
It is. But there are a lot of people that are under that impression. There's a nice little tracker on the Scott Fishbowl where you can see how all of the other teams have drafted as well. The latest somebody drafted Deshaun Watson was in the 18th round.
That's dumb.
Apparently everybody in that league believes that Deshaun Watson is not going to play this year. But me, I was considering doing it in the 7th round and waited until I couldn't wait any longer. To me, it's just a gimme on the board. He's going to play somewhere. And I hope it's for the Philadelphia Eagles. I honestly do. I want to see this. I want to see this turn out to, because him in Houston again just doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
He was amazing last year. He was like the second best quarterback in the league last year, yardage wise.
4 games.
Or no, actually, he led the league in yardage last year, and they won 4 games with him. He needs to be in a place where he can win. Philadelphia may be that place. We are live in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Oh, no. Kevin Love is pulling out of the Olympics. What are we going to do?
Oh, no. Did he get COVID, too?
Oh, no, it sucked again. No, he hurt his calf because he actually had to play for the first time in forever.
Oh.
Kevin Love didn't get to just cash a check for scratching his ass and eating Cheetos. And he hurt himself.
Oh, good on him. Good on him. The best worst case scenario.
If you ever want to feel shitty about yourself, just realize Kevin Love makes $30-some-odd million a year. That make you feel good? That make you feel just warm and fuzzy? You get a warm sensation in your tum-tum when you hear that? Because I don't.
Best worst case scenario for the New York Football Giants. The New York Giants have Daniel Jones as their quarterback. Hopefully they are going to be able to do something offensively this year. Saquon Barkley, back from the injury. Hopefully he'll be able to rush for more than 3 yards a carry like he did before he went down with the injury. It all hinges on Daniel Jones, though. If he can take the leap in year 3 that Josh Allen took in year 3.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. But if
I'm
he
willing
can,
to bet nobody knows this reference. Tank wrote both of these bottom thirds.
Yep.
I'm going to bet no one knows what this is because I have never heard this in my life. Best case scenario for the New York Giants, Daniel's a star in the face of the sky.
That's right.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
It's a lyric from Daniel.
No. Don't say it. I want to see if anybody knows it.
Oh, okay. So we're just going to sit here and wait until somebody says it?
No, we're just going to keep talking, and if somebody goes, hey, I know that song, I'll be like, oh, so there's two. There's two people that know what
There's
this
two
song
people that know that. Daniel is a star in the face of the sky. Daniel Jones needs to make the leap. He needs to be the guy to be able to get the ball to his receivers. They went out and got Kenny Golladay, saying the weapons that we had weren't enough. They drafted Kadarius Toney in the first round of the draft, the last need that they needed.
The last need that they needed.
The big problem for me is the offensive line. I don't think their offensive line is great. I mean, they've got good pieces, but it just hasn't come together. Matt Pert was a guy that we liked a lot last year in the draft. I was a big supporter of Shane Lemieux. Will Hernandez was another guy that I thought could come into this league and be really good. They're getting Nate Solder back, who opted out last year.
Might not make the team.
He may not make the team.
Mm-hmm.
Cost cutting? Cost cutting move.
Yeah, because dirty little secret, he wasn't that great when he was on the field.
Yeah, and then Andrew Thomas didn't play out the way they had hoped.
Because he's a right tackle, not a left.
Right. So do you think that they have the pieces for a cohesive, effective offensive line if they just put the pieces in the right slot?
They can, and here's how those pieces should fit. Nate Solder should play on the left side. He's your best left tackle. Mm-hmm. Matt Pert should probably play inside with Hernandez at guard, and Andrew Thomas should play on the right side. That could be a formidable line. I don't look for it to happen because they keep trying to shoehorn Andrew Thomas in the left side, which he's not. He has short arms. I said all of these things when they drafted him.
You did.
The thing I don't understand is that you passed on 4 better tackles to take a guy that should have been a right tackle, and you played him on the left side. You know why? Because Dave Gettleman's an idiot.
Yep.
Yeah, I bet you wish you'd taken Mekhi Becton now. Thanks for letting him fall to us. Yeah. We love him.
Oh, thanks for Tristan Wirfs, too.
Mekhi Becton's better. NFL executive disagree with you.
Really?
Mekhi Becton was just ranked 6th among offensive tackles in the NFL. Was it 50 scouts? Mm-hmm. 50 NFL scouts were polled, and Mekhi Becton was 6th.
Nice.
Tristan Wirfs was 7, in fairness. But 6 is a lower number than 7.
It is indeed. By 1 spot. Missed it by that much. To me, it's going to hinge on Daniel Jones making that leap. And with Kenny Golladay there, I think he can at least make this team serviceable. They'll be mediocre. They'll be middle of the road.
You're saying bad wrong.
I don't see a whole lot of... No, we're talking best case scenario. And best case scenario is he's okay.
I mean, that's like saying best case scenario. My wiener grows 6 inches overnight, and all of a sudden it's average.
You don't think Daniel Jones can even be average?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I think he's bad. I think he turns the ball over entirely too damn much.
He does.
I've never seen a quarterback that was the biggest knock on him, and he just all of a sudden woke up one day and fixed that. Mm-hmm. Quarterbacks that turn the ball over always turn the ball over. It doesn't. That's not a That's not a box that you can uncheck. That's who he is. Oh, he's super athletic. Cool. Fucking phenomenal. He's still not a very good quarterback.
He does throw a good deep ball, though. And Kenny Golladay, I think they're going to hook up a lot this year.
Do you realize the defenses that this team plays this year?
Tell me about it.
It's comical. The first, let's see, they open with Denver. They're pretty good. At Washington, they're pretty good. They have to play the Saints, who a lot of people think their defense is going to be pretty good. The Rams, Tampa Bay, that Philadelphia D-line we were just talking about, the Miami Dolphins, the Chargers, who are healthy again, and the Chicago Bears. You probably play five of the six best defenses in the NFL.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And you're coming in with Danny not so many dimes. Good fucking luck with that.
Best case scenario?
6 wins.
Oh.
That's best case scenario. 6
Wow.
wins. Giants are one of the 6 worst teams in the NFL, fact or fiction. They're one of the 6 worst teams in the NFL, fact or fiction.
I'd say fact.
There you go. And I got news for you. If Deshaun Watson ends up in Philly, you're clearly the worst team in this division.
Yes.
By light years. I don't buy Dave Gettleman, and I hate it because Giants fans are as true blue as they come. And, you know, I'm a Jets fan that can respect Giants fans. Do I hate your team? A little bit. Not as much as other Jets fans. I think it's a New York thing. I've never lived in New York, so I've never really gained that hatred for the Giants. A lot of Jets fans hate the Giants like to the level they hate the Patriots, and I can't wrap my brain around that.
Yeah. I think they could do a little bit better than that. I think best case scenario, they could be 7-10.
All right.
So I'll go one.
All right, I'm going to call your bluff.
More.
Name me the 7 games they could win.
The 7 games that they could win. Okay.
I'll give you Denver.
Let's go Denver, Atlanta, Carolina.
You wanted to say New Orleans, but you realized
I wanted
they couldn't
to,
beat
but I
them in
realized
New
they couldn't do that. Carolina, Vegas, Philadelphia, Miami.
Shut the fuck up.
Philadelphia, Chicago.
Stop.
You don't think they could beat Chicago?
Hell no. You're at 6. What number did I say?
I think there's a
I had already done that.
I think they might be able to squeeze one more out of that.
Against who?
Against Chicago.
Khalil Mack against Andrew Thomas. I rest my case. Daniel Jones' head might end up on the field, not still attached to his body.
Well, yeah, but also Chicago may be in a position that late in the season where they're
playing Justin Fields.
They still can't. Huh?
They're playing Justin Fields.
Okay.
I get Justin Fields against this defense. You get Daniel Jones against Khalil Mack. Not a snowball's chance in hell.
Okay. Anyway, we're close. How about that? We're close on the best case scenario. Now, the worst case scenario is that Daniel Jones is basically who we thought he was, and Daniel's leaving tonight on a plane. At the end of the season, Daniel's going to be out.
Nobody in the comments has said they know what this song is.
Well,
Nobody,
stop.
baby.
I'm older than all of you, and I happen to like Elton John. So don't even, because you said you liked Elton John too.
I like an Elton John song.
One, that's
with
it.
Ozzy Osbourne.
You don't like any of his other music.
Secret Time? I don't think I could name another Elton John song. Except the one that was in Friends. Hold Me Close, Young Tony Danza. That was him.
Tiny Dancer, yeah. That's one of the greatest songs ever written.
That's not the best song named on this show today. Hurt So Good is better than Tiny Dancer.
You are insane. Tiny Dancer is a classic. Yeah.
Hurt So Good is a classic.
No, it's not. It's a shitty 80s song.
You're a shitty 80s
You
song.
could leave on the trash pile of history.
You're a shitty 80s song.
Anyhow, Daniel's leaving tonight on a plane. He's not going to be the quarterback of this team after this year. I think this is more likely where this all goes. Is that Danny Dimes just isn't, he's not the guy. He can't hold on to the football. He's going to be inaccurate. They are going to push the ball down the field more, and he's going to get the a chance to show off just how accurate his deep ball arm can be.
Which is not very.
But at the end of the day, you're going to have some splash plays to look back on, but you're going to realize that Daniel Jones is not the guy. And hopefully it's the thing that gets David Gettleman fired. And hopefully they will not fuck up the next hire as GM for this football team, and they'll be able to reclaim some of their glory. But until that happens, until David Gettleman's out, I don't see this team being very good.
I don't either. I think best case scenario is 6. Maybe you slide into 7th win just because weird shit happens in the NFL. Worst case scenario, 3. You'd be picking in the top 5 next year. Mm-hmm. On the bright side, you could have you could take a quarterback way too high because you're not going to be the worst team in the league, so you're not going to get Sam Howell. You can have Keaton Slovis. I only have like 7 of the same qualms with Keaton Slovis that I had with Daniel Jones.
Oh, well, that's not a lot.
They're very similar, flawed quarterbacks. They just lather it up and do it again.
Uh-huh. Or you could be a player in the free agent market.
For who?
I think
Teddy Bridgewater?
Ryan Fitzpatrick might be looking for a job next year.
Yeah, that's a good time to roll. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the only thing I can give Ryan Fitzpatrick is he's the NFL player that looks the most like me.
Bingo.
I do look like Ryan Fitzpatrick and Luke Combs' love child. And I'm okay with that.
Hit that Kevin Vick memorial bell. On it. We haven't talked about the defense at all with the New York Giants.
Okay.
I mean, they're not bad. They've got some pieces. Between Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, they just got Azeez Ojulari. I like the secondary.
I actually don't mind the defense.
The secondary with Adoree Jackson and James Bradbury and Logan Ryan, I think that's a defense that can make some plays.
I don't.
The problem is you don't have the offense that's going to be able to keep up.
It is. Problem is that defense is going to be on the field a lot.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a problem, especially against that schedule that you're playing. Because there are a lot of shootout teams on that schedule. A lot. And I just feel like they're bringing a squirt pistol to a gunfight.
God, man.
Got them a squirt gun.
But day by day, this offense, or this entire team, to me, it looks like the Carolina Panthers from 5 years ago when David Gettleman was there. I mean, you had a defense that was, decent. They got some really good players on the defense, and they're gonna keep you in some games, but you're gonna be hampered by your offense, as the Carolina Panthers were, outside of the one magical year of Cam Newton.
Oh, by the way, I looked this up yesterday just because I was talking shit about Cam Newton again, which is one of my favorite things to do. How many Pro Bowls has Cam Newton been to?
I don't know. 2.
He's been in the league 10 years.
2?
It's 3. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. And people keep trying to tell me he's a Hall of Famer. Missed it by that much.
But he won an MVP. And so did Matt Ryan.
Yep. Matt Ryan's a Hall of Famer. Cam Newton's not.
I actually agree with you.
I knew you would.
I actually do agree with you. No, New York Giants, best case scenario, they're going to be, 6-11. Worst case scenario, you're going to be one of the 3 worst teams in the league. And also might end up being your best case scenario. And just pray to God that you're bad enough to get Sam Howell. Not going to be. This team's just stuck in a bad situation. And again, it all comes down to the inefficiencies and the lack of ability in the front office. We'll be with you this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. 3 to 5 weekdays. We'll be closing out the week talking about the U.S. Open, everything, or it's not the U.S. Open, excuse me, the Open Championship.
The Open Championship.
We'll give you all the updates on that, and we'll talk about some Bryson DeChambeau as well, because now I'm having fun. Now I'm having fun picking on Bryson DeChambeau. Ever since I came around to the realization that he is an insufferable tool.
He is a syrupy, leaky douche.
Ooh, that's a bad way to put that. But we do have guys at the top of the leaderboard right now. Colin Morikawa still at 9 under, Jordan Spieth at 7 under, and Louis Oosthuizen has gained a stroke today, so he is up to 7 under as well. Tied
My
for
whole
second.
team has gained none.
Oh,
Fool me once. Shame on you. It fooled me, we can't get fooled again.
all right, join us this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, and of course we'll be back here in the Wicked Weed studio on Monday morning, where we'll talk about the AFC South best worst case scenarios, the only division that we have left. Look for the individual team videos that are coming out in the
All weekend long.
Yep.
Please, God, like them and share them, because the editing of them is slowly stealing my will to live.
We're going to get all of those individual team videos out over the weekend. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Come on out to Silverado's in Black Mountain, silveradoswnc.com to get your tickets for the outdoor concert series. Tonight, the Kentucky Headhunters and the Georgia Thunderbolts. Tomorrow night is Brian McKnight. The big show coming up next week, though, is the Everclear show.
And Hoobastank.
Yeah, the Summerland Tour with Wheatus.
Will Wheatus. I don't know what a Wheatus is. And Living Color.
And Living Color.
I'm actually looking more forward to Living Color than I am either of the other two bands.
I'm not. I've seen Living Color before. I've never gotten to see Everclear. And I am going to be front and center.
I don't know that I could name an Everclear song.
Oh, come on. Father of Mine.
Father of Mine.
Yep. Santa Monica.
The only Santa Monica I know is Theory of a Dead Man. Great song. Great song.
We can live beside the ocean, leave our world behind, swim out past the breakers, and watch the world die. Everclear. No, none of that song. Anyway.
No, I'm looking forward to Hoobastank, because I'm going to get 18 Bud Lights in and just, and the reason is you. Yeah. That's got to happen.
Yeah, you're focusing on the wrong ones there. Anyway, it's going to be a fantastic show with the Summerland Tour next week as well. SilveradosWNC.com. Get your tickets today. Of course, we're always live in the Wicked Weed studio. Check out our friends at WickedWeedBrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing, drink different. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene, and we'll see you on Monday.